is going to be pretty quick.
Okay.
So, let's see if anybody else was coming. Anyways, energy magic is basically manifesting, but it's also spells without incantation or words. And one of the first things I was taught as a kid was to clap my hands together, rub them, and then pull apart, just kind of feel the vibrations between the hands. Wait till the tingling stops and just still feel for that energy field that's between the hands. They'll call it energy ball, energy technique, a few other things, but it's one of the practices that goes into chakra work as well as Reiki and a few other things. But one of the biggest goals is to feel the energy between hand to hand until you can kind of feel like a ball forming, almost like it feels like clinging, like it's sticking to your fingers. And the goal is to keep getting this ball to get bigger and bigger while you are thinking about your intentions of what's going into that ball. Let's say, for example, you have someone that is being super negative at work or a social gathering or something to that effect, and you just want them to be in a better mood. So what I was taught as a kid was to make my little ball and then think of something funny. And of course, as a kid, I was like, oh, somebody farted, that made me funny, it made me laugh. So I think of something that made me laugh, feel that emotion of being happy and laughing while I'm just making this ball and willing that laughter to be in that ball. You're essentially programming this energy with your laughter, with your intention and your belief. And then once you kind of feel like it's solidified and you have your target, you just kind of will it to float to that person. I have found over the years that doing this would help me experience not only energy, but become more energy sensitive. It really helped a lot with my psychic abilities and things of that nature. Because when you start to get into chakra work, you're making an energy ball. You're going to start to feel those energy fields between your palms, between your client's skin and things of that nature, to where you can feel how that energy is flowing. And when you get into chakras, for example, chakras will when you become energy sensitive enough, you can actually feel a current in those centers. Like if you're working on the root chakra, for example, that's attached to a person's vitality, to their health, to their sexual side, to their anger. And if it's going counterclockwise, that person is either repressing that or they're very negative in that energy field. So going back to the energy ball, the more you become adept and proficient with feeling that energy between your hands, you can start to feel that pulse. That's the way the energy is moving. And in a person that you're doing chakra work, you would hold your hand over that energy point, feel if it's going clockwise, feel if it's going counterclockwise. If it's going counterclockwise, you need to get that energy going clockwise. So you would literally start going into a clockwise motion until you could feel like in a swimming pool, like everybody's making a whirlpool. It's the same thing with energy. You're going to start moving that energy to get to the right direction. And they would call it the 70-30 stance. So you kind of be like this. You're feeling for that energy, and then once you feel it going clockwise, then you move on to that next energy point, which would be the sacral. Then you would move to the next one, which would be the solar plexus, then the heart, then the throat, then the third eye, then the crown. When you have all of your energy points in alignment, Chinese medicine to Hindu to Buddhism to several variations of paganism to even Native American, all experience energy. They all believe in energy medicine. They believed in moving energy and not being so bent on, oh, well, you've got to have this to do that. Like, no, all you need is you. And the more belief and the more you experience energy, the more potent you're going to have effects. There's so many studies that have been shown that people, like if they go under it's some type of microscope where they can actually see the aura, and you can actually see the energy points, and they found that like cancer, mental illness, heart problems, all can kind of be predicted by seeing these energy patterns in these types of x-rays and in these types of scans. That's why the Chinese especially would be so bent on making sure that they would do energy medicine on people. So it's kind of like a scientific way of proving the aura is real, energy is real, and just remembering that everything's made out of matter, so obviously it is energy. So becoming more energy sensitive, one of the best things I've ever learned was the energy ball. Having that intention, feeling that intention. And if you start to question your intent, you could whisper it if you want until you kind of feel that heaviness between your fingers and just will it to go to that person. Or if you're wanting to heal yourself, again, you could do the energy ball. And once you start to feel it and you just know what you want inside it, you can take it into your solar plexus. You can take it into your heart chakra, your third eye, your crown, your sacral, roots, just to try to get your energies flowing. It goes into any type of spell work, any type of manifesting. Is you've got to remember it is energy. We're directing energy out into the world. And one of the best ways to have more successful spells, more successful rituals, more successful manifestations is to not be tying yourself to an object, to material things. Because when you do, you're putting more belief in that material than yourself. You're putting more belief into, oh, I have to have this and I have to have that. No, all you need is you. The most powerful witch or the most powerful practitioners on the planet are not going to be going to shopping for this and that. They're going to be like, boom. And it goes back to being able to experience energy, radiate energy. If you're highly empathic, this would be an easy exercise for some people, is to feel that energy ball and then just kind of will that ball to kind of like go out from their hands and surround themselves with a barrier that keeps other people's emotions from attaching and influencing them in general. Because if you can get proficient with that, you can eventually get to where you're just kind of standing here and just radiate that energy to where you start to feel like you're vibrating all around to keep things from you. Just like some people that practice the darker things, they learn how to hide their energy. And this is no different. They would radiate that energy out to where nobody can sense them. They're wanting to be invisible. They don't want to be detected. And they will have that barrier around them. And I've tested this theory a few times here recently. There's a practitioner on TikTok who sells a lot of dark stuff, and he's an acquaintance of mine, and I have learned a lot from him. But he would do these path readings to try to tell what people were capable of and what they weren't. So before I let him do my path reading, I intentionally did an energy field to where he couldn't sense what I was capable of. Like, I just didn't want him to see if he could do that. He does my reading, and he's like, you're just not psychic. You're just not, I don't see anything special in your aura. Maybe you should work with Moloch. So then I have him do a reading 2 days later. He's like, but you've already, I'm like, no, I want you to do my reading this time. I'm like, just humor me. Well, this time, I've got my shield down, and the next thing you know, he's like, what the fuck? And he was like, this wasn't what I saw last time. I'm like, yeah, because I was hiding my energy from you. And one of the best things is that belief, that feeling your energy and radiating it outward, because sometimes our best defense in being in public and being in social settings is to make sure that we are energetically invisible to the bad people we don't want to be around, but attracting the other ones. Other examples that I have done with energy work is, again, the ball. Making my ball form, making that ball will out to where it's just all around me, and then going into Walmart. I'm in a hurry. I gotta get this, I gotta get that. My kid's gotta be here, my other kid's gotta be here. Oh, I gotta get dog food. Oh, wait, the parrots need stuff too, because I've got African gray parrots. And I'm in a hurry. Well, I will make my energy ball to where I can feel it vibrating all around me, but make it form a wedge in the front. And I'm programming that wedge to get people out of my way. And the next thing I know, it's like the waters are parting. People are out of my way, I get in, I get out. Unfortunately, when I do this and I focus too much, I get up and something goes wrong with the register. It's just kind of one of those energetic things. But our energy fields are so vital to anything that we are doing, anything from spell work to healing to whatever we want to do. And it all starts with being able to experience energy, feel energy, and then work with the energy. And a subject that most people would probably not want to hear me say is our diet is going to play a huge role into what our energy is doing. Anything we put into our body, it has an energy frequency. And when we are eating lower frequency foods, our cells, even on the scientific level, can be proven, our electrons are weaker. The molecules just do not work right. And that just goes back to you're not eating a higher vibrational food, which there in turn affects the energy in your body. And I've seen a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm eating this and that, and it's like, oh, well, my spells aren't working. And I'm like, well, I mean, your energy's pretty low. They're like, yeah, what can I do to get it up? I'm like, well, you could probably start by not eating pizza every day. You could probably start by not eating a cheeseburger every day. You should probably get out there and start exercising. They're like, wow, how the hell does this have anything to do with magic or energy? And I'm like, because you're raising your energy level, your vibrational level, by eating better and being more active, because you're getting those energy centers flowing and all of your energy is radiating. I follow this guy named Robert Zink. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with him. He does a lot of positive affirmations on YouTube. And one of his free videos that you can listen to, it's a subliminal overnight. One of these things always stuck with me whenever I hear it is your body is a magnet and it's going to attract what you want. And let's just be honest, the more attractive you are, you attract more things because you've invested in your own personal energy, your own personal body. It kind of goes into self-love, and I don't want to touch on that because that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. But the more we invest in our energy, in our bodies, the more we're going to be able to do in manifesting our reality. And other than that, does anybody have any questions? So that's kind of my class. I will add this, because a lot of people will never touch on it. When you're offering to an entity that you are worshiping or working with, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you've got to offer this one beer, you've got to offer this one incense, you've got to offer this one that. You could honestly just offer them energy. And one of my personal things is an energy ball. And whenever I'm doing it, I'm thinking about I am being grateful for what this entity has provided for me. For example, Ashra, Astaroth, they're both the same entity, they're my deity. Anytime I am thankful and something has went my way, I'm very grateful, I'm very thankful, and I will think about that gratitude, and I'll focus over her sigil or however I'm doing it, and then just willing that to go to them, because essentially our deities and entities, you're sending them essentially a spiritual cheeseburger, a spiritual whatever type of nutrition you're wanting to send them. I mean, they're all about receiving energy. It's kind of one of the divine exchanges. They provide us with blessings in exchange for our worship. It's a yin and yang. But energy is energy, whether you're sending it to a deity, to another person. Protecting your energy fields is very vital. And that's kind of my class. So.